What's going on, you guys? Slim here with a new video today, and today, you guys, I'm here to bring you guys my thoughts on what I feel are the top 5 rogue decks of our current format. I know that we've had Euros pass, I know Sprite and Tier Elements are everywhere, but even though those decks are dominating, it doesn't mean that you can't play a rogue deck and still find success. If you've been following any of the regionals that have been taking place these past couple weekends, as well as looking to Euros, as well as looking at other tournaments, there are definitely other decks that you can play, and I want to bring those to the forefront for you guys. In my personal opinion, some may be right, some may be wrong. We'll see, as time progresses, what decks will do better. But anyways, hopefully you guys will enjoy. Be sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you're new here, but let's hop into it. So at number 5, I have Eldlich. So I'm talking about Trap Eldlich. I guess you could throw Branded Eldlich in there if you wanted to, but Trap Eldlich for sure, just because trap cards are crazy. They've always, kind of gotten just a bad rap for just being crazy, but Eldlich literally can play all the floodgates. They can play Rivalry, they can play Gozen, they can play There Can Only Be One, Skill Drain, Need I Go On. They literally can just play all the crazy floodgates. All their trap cards are crazy. They literally just protect them with the other Lord, the whole Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Golden Lord does his thing, Eldlich does his thing. You guys already know what I'm talking about. Skill Drain is just a hell of a card. Even though Tier Elements can play around it, they even play it themselves. You just play your other floodgates and they literally can't win. It's crazy. I think that Eldlich is definitely a deck that you should be prepared for. I mean, we always side back row removal. It's rare that we main it. There is sometimes a little bit of main decked back row removal because of Mystic Mine, but as far as the back row decks go, you definitely want to not sleep on those decks. You definitely want to be having your Lightning Storms, Twins, Evenlies, etc., because those decks will definitely take you by surprise if you're not prepared for them, and you may even lose a game 1 to it, but as long as you side accordingly, you should be fine. But I had to throw Eldlich in there. Shout out to James, you already know, Trap Master, and yeah, that's what I got coming in at number 5 for Rogue Decks' format. Coming in at number 4, I actually have Sky Striker. So I wasn't sure where to put Sky Striker. Again, these are in no real particular order, but Sky Striker is one of those decks I feel it adapts to every format. I've said this before with Dragon Link. I feel Striker is just one of those decks that just adapts. It doesn't matter what's being played, they just find a way. They just activate, engage, and go, and just figure everything out. They can play floodgates like There Can Only Be One. They can just, they get a bunch of advantage off of all their spell cards. They can play the Brave cards if they want to. There's just so many things you can do with Striker that I think it's just a deck that just can always adapt. And I wouldn't say it's definitely not a meta deck. It doesn't have enough representation, but you always do have that one Striker player that does squeeze in. I believe at Euros there was one Sky Striker player that squeezed in. I think it was either top 128 or top 64. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, but I know there's definitely a Striker deck that made a top cut at Euros, so it's definitely interesting to see. I think the deck is still really good. I think in the hands of the right pilot, it will always have success. As you guys saw at our nationals here in the States, Ryan, you brought it to a 2nd place finish. It just proves that in every format, Striker just finds a way. Like, there's just no way around it. Striker always finds a way, and I think it's definitely a deck that you guys should keep an eye on, and it's definitely something that you should be prepared for in any kind of format, especially if you're playing regionals or locals or any kind of OTS tournaments. You're gonna run into Striker. It always happens. You always run into rogue decks like this at those events, but I got Striker coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, I actually have Exosister. So I gotta be honest, I don't know too much about this deck. I know that it literally just destroys Tier Elements, which already makes it insane. I think it's just a deck that just needs more representation. I think that there has been some people that have had success with it. If you look around on YouTube, there's some deck profiles of people that have done well at regionals, at OTS championships, at case tournaments, etc. It's just a deck that I feel personally that if you are really good with it, if you know how to pilot it, it's definitely a good anti-meta deck to combat the format. Again, it absolutely destroys Tier Elements, so I think the deck is very strong. I think it's just something that, again, a pilot needs to, really just condone the best options when, playing the deck, and if it really is the deck you want to play for the format. Again, since I don't know too much about it, I can't say all that much, but I can say that it's definitely a deck that I know I have seen. I have people who have talked to me about it saying, hey, well, you can't sleep on this deck. It's definitely a deck that, it'll just get better over time as the format establishes itself more. Like, pretty much the format is pretty much where it's at right now. Runic cards are like the newest thing we have and some new stuff that's come out, but as far as like the meta, Exosisters is in there, I think, definitely as a rogue deck. And again, these are in no particular order. You may say Exosister is number 5 versus Eldlich being number 5, but again, it's a deck I wanted to talk about because I think that's a deck that, again, in the hands of the right pilot, can definitely find success, and I think it's something that you definitely should be prepared for. I feel that decks like this, while they start out not getting a lot of representation, the minute a player actually finds success with it, other rogue players will kind of flock to it, try to make it better, and then slowly the numbers will start to go up. So that's why I got Exosister coming in at number 3. Number 2, I have Mathmech. Mathmech has been just on a tirade actually on the regional level. I'm not 100% sure if any of them topped the topped Euros. I'm pretty sure they did in some shape or form, because Euros, remember, was top 128 and then top 64, etc., etc. But it was top 128. I have to go back and look at the spreadsheets and stuff. I want to say at least one Mathmech top. There might be more. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's just a deck that, you know, Cypress cards are kind of crazy. You guys have already seen the Mathmech profile I have of my boy Ulysses over here on the channel. I think the deck is just really strong. It got a big boost with the last set before Tactical Masters, and I think that the deck, again, is one of those decks that if you're just not prepared for, it will just destroy you. It will literally destroy you, and it'll just, you know, take you by surprise. And I think that, again, in the hands of the right pilot, I think the key thing, if you guys notice, I keep saying at the hands of the right pilot, I feel when it comes to rogue decks, it's more than just deciding to play like an anti-meta off-the-wall deck. I think it really comes down to the pilot. How long have you been playing the deck? How versed are you in the deck? And do you know how to play the deck against the actual main decks of the format? And I feel like Mathmech is one of those decks. I've already seen Ulysses' success with the deck, and I know other players have found success with the deck, and I think that you spend more time on a deck like this, you'll definitely have more success with it in the rest of the format. Like I said, while there's Splight, while there's tier elements everywhere, you are able to play decks like this and find more success. I think it's really, really strong. So Mathmech, really cool deck. I think it's just something you just got to keep an eye out for, as with all these other decks, and it'll be a deck that we're going to see having more success, and I can definitely see it topping some of the YCSs in the future. But that's why I got it coming in at number 2. And number 1, I do have Rika Sunavalon. Now, you can say I'm putting this at number 1 because it just won Euros. That's part of the reason. The other reason is for the main reason why it won. No one knew what the hell the deck was doing, and that's what I think was so crazy. If you watch the deck profile on Farfa's channel, that deck literally was built to destroy the format. It was literally built to not be broken by board breakers and stuff like that. And even if you had like Dark Rulers and Talents and stuff like that, they built a board that literally just still made the opponent minus more than they plus. And I thought that was absolutely insane. I didn't know what the hell was going on when I saw that deck win. The finals was crazy. Flip Rivalry, Mystic Mind, similar to our Nationals. It's just crazy. It's the deck that could do all that, and I think a lot of players forgot about it. I didn't make a video on the winning deck, but honestly, what was I gonna say? I was just gonna say it won because the deck was built to beat the meta. No one knew what the cards did, and it literally just steamrolled through the competition. He went undefeated. I don't know what else I could say. Like, shout out to Marcus Patel. I don't know what else to say. He's a hell of a player, but also just made an insane meta call. Him and his group that all topped with the deck is just crazy. I think that, you know, again, it's one of those decks, let it be shown. The hands of the right pilot, it will go far beyond, go undefeated, and win Euros. So it's pretty wild. But I had to put Rika Sunavalon in there. Again, these are in no particular order. Maybe this one I put at number 1 just for the reasons that it won. But I think overall the deck is really solid. And those are the top 5 decks that I have. Now, last but not least, you guys are probably wondering, I didn't put Despia, I didn't put Sword Soul, I didn't put any of the decks from last format. I think those decks are still relevant. I wouldn't call them rogue. I think that their representation is just down in the it's just down, like really, really down. There was like one Sword Soul, I think, in top 128. I think players have moved on from Sword Soul, have moved on. Some players have moved on from Despia. I think Despia is still really good. I think Sword Soul is still really good. It just really depends on who's going to really be out here playing those decks. And I don't want to put them on rogue because I definitely don't think they're rogue decks. I think they're decks that have just lost representation. But I definitely want to mention them at the end of the video just so you guys are wondering. I don't consider them rogue. I just consider them underrepresented right now. But again, we'll see how the format progresses. But that's all I got for this video today, you guys. I know it's been a while. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to smash that like button if you did. Please let me know in the comment section below any of the top rogue decks that you are currently playing or decks that I missed. Again, this is just in my personal opinion. These are things I've observed, and you know, it'll be different region to region, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with rogue decks in the future. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Smash the like button if you did. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.
Thank you all for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and a special thanks to all my patrons. It's because of you, after all these years, I'm still able to make this type of content. Hopefully you guys will check out some of the videos that are suggested here for you, and just remember, you guys, it's not just a game, it's a lifestyle. Thanks for watching.